Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we will have another look at the progress I made on the news app, so let's get right to it. Also, if you enjoy my content, maybe consider subscribing and liking to help me making more videos just like this one. The first thing I did this week was to change from the URL launcher to an in-app web browser, because it's faster and more secure, and also your browser doesn't get cluttered up. This ran pretty fast because of the Flutter web browser package. Next, I wanted to display the time passed, since an article got published instead of the source's URL in the news card. I got the date it got published in XML, and I had to parse it with http date.parse instead of datetime.parse because the date was not an ISO format. Then I used the timeago package to save me some work and display the time passed since it got published in a nice format like 12 hours ago or 1 day ago and so on. Something that kept me busy the last couple of days were categories. Right now we just display top stories, like the newest ones, but I wanted the user to be able to select from categories, so I played around with the API to see how it handles categories. I extracted some identifiers in the URL which select the category and save them in constants. I changed up my fetching method to be able to also get data based on the category. I also temporarily created a drop-down button below the app bar to choose the category. Of course, the styling for that is yet to come, but putting it all together, the category system works quite nicely. To make handling the categories a bit easier, I created a enum with them, and also created some methods to convert enums to strings and enums to identifiers I mentioned earlier. Onto the next day, I had to somehow refine the category selection widget. Jonathan had the idea to make something like on YouTube, basically some tags in a list view. I really liked that idea, so I got started right away. The visuals for the widget were not too hard to create, but the logic behind it was fun, because only one of those tags should be selected at once, while the others are all turned off. I could imagine that I make this into a standalone widget one day, but we'll see. After I was finished with all that, I noticed that when you select a category in the list view, the entire screen would reload and the category list would be at position 0 again, so scroll back to the beginning even though you scrolled further to select a category that is further behind. I know this is just a quality of life feature, but it was really bothering me. My approach was to scroll the list view back to its previous position once we changed categories, but this approach was completely irrelevant as 1. The list view wouldn't even be created at the time we would scroll it back to its previous position, and 2. The whole screen was still refreshing. So I did a pause to get my head free and try to tackle that problem instead. The problem was in the future builder, where I would currently return the entire app including the app bar and the category bar when it finished loading. Basically all I changed was that I would always return the app bar and category list view, but only change the content of the sliver list view where normally the news card would be returned, depending on loading state. Now only the list view loads instead of the entire app, which is also way more efficient. The last thing I did for this week was the settings screen. Originally, I wanted the user to be able to change the app language, but that was too complex for the amount of time I had, so I left it out for now. But changing the accent color was pretty easy following this tutorial on Medium, and changing the news region also wasn't too difficult after, again, playing around with the Google News API. For changing the color itself, I used the color picker package, which caused some visual glitches on the emulator, but those were not visible on a real device. I then also got all of the news regions from a JSON file with the country names and region codes and inserted them into the drop-down menu for selection. This was a really fun exercise in JSON encoding and decoding. And that's the progress from this week. I hope you enjoyed this video, and till then, see you next week with some more progress, hopefully, on this news app.